Hi, I'm Neil Wood. Welcome to Optimist Island. And for those of you who've watched the show for a while, you realize that we interview guests who are going outside their comfort zone and doing things that are not easy, but they're passionate about it, they believe in themselves, and they give it a shot. Today's guest is Olivia Monarch. She's a 17-year-old prolific singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and an actress. She's the lead singer and the songwriter of the well-known local band, Not Today. Olivia and her band recently released a full-length album called Out of Phase, in addition to releasing her own solo EP titled Subject. Not Today enjoys playing at local venues, such as the Middle East, New World Tavern, Players, and often the C Note in Hull, Massachusetts. Not Today was recently invited to perform at the Levitate Music Festival in Marshfield, Massachusetts this summer. Please, I hope you enjoy the show and this interview with Olivia. Olivia,
hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
We've known each other a little while, and I am blown away by the success you are having as a musician and everything else you do as an actress. Mm-hmm. How did you ever get started?
So I guess I would start with my mom when we were younger, like babies, my sister and I. She signed us up for all sorts of music lessons and stuff like that for like brain development reasons, like it just music and the arts help with so much in your life. It's incredible. So she was very like proactive with that stuff, like, hey, let's get them out and singing, and let's get them learning piano, and let's get them dancing. So I got started that way, and she never had any, like, there was no pressure from her to continue it. She just wanted to get us started on this track, which was really nice of her. And I'm really, really grateful for that. Because now I just took that and flew. Like, that was my little jumping point. Yeah. And now I'm just still continuing with the things. I never stopped. Yeah.
And how old were you?
I was tiny, like a year old maybe.
Wow.
When we first did, like, it was like mommy and me singing lessons. And I mean, I didn't know at that time that I was gonna be here doing this stuff, but yes. It definitely helped being that young.
That's pretty amazing. Would you encourage other parents to do the same?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I think it's great. There's a fine line between, like, oh, I'm setting up for music lessons, you're gonna do this for your whole life, this is what you're gonna do, and I'm gonna start you off with this so you have the skills to build on it if you wish, and if you want to later in life, which I think is an incredible way to grow up.
Yes. You know, one of the things we did talk about is the fact that when you think of public speaking and you look at the list of fears, public speaking is number one. I think death is number three. People fear public speaking more than they fear death.
Yeah.
And yet you get up on stage and you just, it's like you're living in the moment. It's like you've done this for 50 years, even though you're only a junior in high school.
Yeah.
Right? What's your thought process mentally? How do you prepare for this? Do you visualize? How do you prepare? And what makes it look so easy?
Well, I mean, every day, I think, I visualize what I want the future to be. We're big manifestors in our family. We recently actually came across that. My parents are both business owners. So we're all very much like, if you have the energy in your mind to think that it can happen, it literally can. So thinking about it pretty much constantly, where I want to be and how comfortable I want to be on stage definitely helps, because I'm living it like every moment, even when I'm not on stage. But right before I get on stage, like in the green room or off to the side or in the audience when the opening band is going on, like these intimate shows are, if you think, I love to think to myself, and I think my band does this too, we think to ourselves, like, let's not let anyone leave. Like, don't let anyone leave without hearing 3 seconds of our music. Like, if they hear 3 seconds of our music, they're gonna wanna stay. And of course, that's not the case for every single person in there. Like, we don't know their lives and how they're doing, but it helps us as people to think like we are worth everyone here's time. And you get up on stage and you're like, these people came to see us, even if they didn't. Right. Even if they didn't know you were gonna be there. And just knowing that you're on that stage for a reason and that you're worth it and people want to hear you, almost tricking yourself into believing that makes it come true in the future, and people will keep on coming back to your shows and seeing you because it's more fun to watch someone who's comfortable on stage than someone who's a nervous wreck.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, let's explain to the viewers everything you do. Instead of me talking, why don't you list what you do? I know you're in a band. I know you sing.
Yes.
I know you play a couple of instruments.
5.
Go on, tell us.
Well, including voice, I do 5 instruments, so I guess like 4 other than voice. I love the arts in every way, so I'm in like theater and stuff like that, at my school and at local theaters and stuff like that. I think any opportunity to get on stage or to get in front of people, basically any opportunity to feel slightly uncomfortable is a good opportunity, because that means you're gonna grow as a person.
Right.
Like we're not gonna grow if we stay within our realms, within our little worlds in our head, or always being in the audience every single time. Metaphorically, of course, like not everybody has to be a performer.
Right.
But so I do that stuff. I do a lot at my school with the arts and stuff like that.
What's the name of your band?
Not today.
All right. How long have you been together?
So we've been together for almost 3 years.
Wow. This is pretty
Yeah.
good for a band.
Yeah, honestly, for a local band, yes, and for teenagers, because we're so moody, yes.
Yes.
We just love playing together. We can't stop writing. People are like, oh, like, is it hard to write all these songs all the time and blah, blah, blah. It's not. It's hard to not write for us, in a way. We have to get our words down on paper somewhere, and we have to have some way, some means by which to, like, let out our emotion. So it started off as fun, but I always knew I wanted to be in a band. Like, I always knew I was going to do it.
And is it as exciting as you thought?
So exciting. It's
That's great.
so fun.
You actually have created records. Well, do we call them records anymore? What do you
I
call
like
them?
records. That's a cool name.
Yeah.
Any name you want.
Okay. And people can find your music on Spotify, Amazon, what else?
iTunes, like every streaming service that you like. YouTube, if you're somebody who downloads stuff on YouTube illegally.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You have a big concert coming up, don't you?
We do. We're playing at Levitate, the music festival this summer. We're playing on the Saturday, which is really fun with Sublime and with Nathaniel Ratliff in the Night Sweats. 2 bands that we've definitely looked up to. My bassist is obsessed with Sublime. He loves them. So we're freaking out. We didn't know. I mean, we knew we were going to get there eventually, but last year at that time, my boss surprised me with tickets. He had like an extra VIP ticket. He was like, do you want to go? And 2 hours later, we were at Levitate, like not at work. It was awesome. And I stepped through the door, the little gate, the tent, I think it is.
Yes.
And I think I automatically knew. I was like, yeah, we're supposed to be here.
It
Like,
just felt
we're
right.
going to be here, yeah.
Wow. And this summer, they'll have about 50,000 people
Yeah.
at this concert that you'll perform in front of.
That is true. That will
This is
happen.
going to be the biggest audience ever.
Yeah, I mean, that's a dream and a half right there. Like, I'm so grateful to everybody who helped us get there. Like, people who download and listen to our music once, to like the owner of Levitate who let us in,
Yeah.
and everybody in between.
What about the other band members? You do gel? Is it good chemistry?
It's actually great chemistry. We
Jeez.
first met each other, there was like a different drummer and there wasn't a bassist at first. So it was a little bit different, but the 4 of our members have been in it since the beginning, and we met because our mutual friend and like director, I guess you would say, of our band. He's kind of the voice of reason among us. His name is Eric Calderoni. He's incredible. He saw us and he was like, you guys need to be together. You guys need to be doing this. So we would have like practice and stuff with him for a long time. And for a little bit of the time, it was, he was kind of not pushing us along. I think I would say like he was guiding us because he's been in this business for so long. He had this great band called Boompa back in the day, like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. But yeah, so they've like done like the tour thing and the recording thing, and so with all of his knowledge and what he's learned and the things he's been through, he was able to pass that on to us, which was really like a nice like gift, which was really nice. And then we got our bassist, and then our drummer swapped out, and with the new bassist and the drummer, like everything. Everybody is friends with everybody. We all would hang out like outside of band practice. Like any two of us would just chill.
Yes. How often do you have to practice?
We practice about, as a band, like twice a week.
Okay.
So once we'll do it with Eric
Yes.
at the conservatory, which is nice to have like that space, that equipment already set up. We just show up and play. And then once we'll do it at one of our houses, so we can kind of have creative control over everything. And that's just kind of an additional, like, do we want to write? Do we want to talk about the album? What do we want to do? It's kind of like a no agenda, just free. Like, what do we need to do right now to progress our band?
Okay. So the big question I think many people are wondering when they watch this, how do you do everything? How do you balance your time? How do you schedule time and still stay normal and happy and calm?
I don't know. I guess school, I manage school. I make school manageable for me because I find joy in learning. I love learning new things. But I haven't taken too much on in school. I'm not like, I'm in like AP music theory and like AP language, but other than that, my other classes aren't like these like crazy far-fetched classes. They're just, I want to learn about this, so I'm going to take it. I'm not taking classes just to get into college, which I think if your goal is to get into college ultimately, like do that. That's awesome. But my goal is music. So I'm in like 2 music classes at school and stuff like that. So I think I haven't been off more than I can shoot with school. I definitely have with music, but we're working with it. We're like dealing with it.
Yes.
I've also gotten really great at staying up till midnight on like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday basis with gigs and shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I'll also be doing a theater show at the same time. I'll have a gig right in between shows or something like that. And staying up, like laying in your bed until midnight is a completely different thing than staying up and rocking out to the closing band.
Yes.
Or showing your support for your friend's theater show or something like that at midnight.
Yes.
So it'll be crazy.
While we're talking about goals, what were your goals earlier in your life, and what are your goals now? Because sometimes, well, first of all, you might or might not know this, only 10% of the population have goals. 10%. That's it.
It's kind of crazy.
It's kind of crazy, considering it's so easy to do. So, and sometimes we've learned that when you set a goal, you might have to make some adjustments, right? Almost like an airplane flying from Boston to Hawaii. It's not just a straight shot.
Right.
There are going to be some adjustments with the wind, with the speed, altitude, things like that. It's the same thing with goals, isn't it? And didn't you have to do something like that?
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with like film, and I didn't watch much TV, but film, like good film. Like Narnia was like my everything, because I would read the book and then I wanted to be in it, and I was obsessed. I was like, I'm gonna be an actress and I'm not gonna go to school, and I'll like take tutoring on the side. And even at a young age, I knew that I wanted to be busy all the time. So I think that hasn't changed. I'm constantly busy, but my goals have changed. I also wanted to be in a band and touring around full time, and I realize now that's not possible. You can't be an actress full time and a band full time.
Right.
You can do like one. You can do them both, like
Yes.
next to each other, but not at the same time. So in that way, they've changed. But as well as like when I was a kid, I always thought that I wouldn't go to sophomore year of high school, junior or senior year of high school. I was like, they're just not necessary. I wanted to go to that one to know what it's like.
Yes.
Go freshman year, and then leave.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to just tour full time. I just wanted to be in a band, or I wanted to be in a film and be busy and be doing things greater than school, greater than that, like learning things that I wanted to learn instead of sitting through classes I didn't want to be in. And instead now, I mean, I'm a junior now, so obviously I'm still going to school. My goals have changed in a way. Like, I figured out that there's way more that you can do in your town or like on the South Shore or in your state than you initially know as a kid, because it's just out of your conscious for that
Sure.
time. So like playing Levitate is the hugest thing we've ever had, but like I'm gonna sleep the night at my house.
Yes.
And I'm gonna drive 20 minutes to Marshfield. Like
Yes.
it's not, you know, it's not insane. And our drummer's from Marshfield is gonna walk down the street to go
Right.
play.
Yes.
Like that's everything.
Yeah.
And I think not getting down on myself for like my idea of success when I was a kid was like not going to school and doing other things, but now I can balance both of those things, which is super cool. And I know a lot of people. I have a lot of connections in Massachusetts, and like once I'm done with Massachusetts, then I can move out and do like these larger concentric circles.
Here we're talking about you've performed at the C Note numerous times, like I think
it's our favorite
15
place.
times. Last time was a sellout, right?
Yes.
And I don't know how much you've touched Boston or Amherst or Springfield or any of those. And then we're talking about Providence, which is a 1-hour drive.
Right.
So you make a good point. Even within New England, there's so much to do.
So much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go to the Middle East in Cambridge, and we've recorded at Mad Oak Studios in Cambridge.
Yeah.
So like that's the Boston side that we get of it. We go up to Plymouth and stuff like that. Sometimes at the New World Tavern to play.
Yes.
But our favorite place is Hull, the Casino, which is I can walk there from my house, which is really nice.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
Visualize 5 years from now, you are on the stage of your dreams.
Right.
Where would you be? Where would you be singing? Where would you be performing?
Oh.
Like, what would be the ultimate?
I would say like my biggest, like the thing that I want to do the most, like if I was in this situation, I would be crying, would be either Red Rocks. They have a cool stadium outside.
Really cool stadium,
or
absolutely.
Anywhere in France. Literally anywhere. Like the smallest bar.
Yes.
Or like the hugest stadium in Paris.
Yes.
I'm just obsessed. I
Good.
love everything French.
I have a feeling you're going to make it happen.
This is an original I wrote off of my recent album called Subject. This is called Afraid to Fall. I'm just confused. What do you want me to do? It seems like you're waiting for me to break through. Little do you know, I think about you all the time. And I never know why I heard you ignore me, hoping that I will come to you. But isn't that what I'm supposed to do? If we're both scared of letting someone in, can we just pretend? I try to give you clues to see if your feelings will shake loose, but you're afraid to fall. So I'm alone through this all. I go out of my way to make sure you're the one that I see. Where my life's going terribly, then I ask myself, why are you always around? When my life's going down, when I don't see you close today, all of my hope suddenly goes away. What if you met someone great and forgot about me? I try to give you clues to see if your feelings will shake loose, but you're afraid to fall. So I'm alone through this all. When you are close to me, I'll look at you carefully. own tonight. Oh, I tried to give you clues to see if your feelings might just shake loose. But you're afraid to fall, so I'm alone through this all. Oh, but you're afraid to fall, so I'm alone through this all. Oh, but you're afraid to fall, so I'm alone through this all.
What else would you like to mention for the viewers?
I think that there's so much that can be found in being slightly uncomfortable. If you, I feel like I am constantly putting myself in situations that I feel like a little bit like, should I be here? But in those situations, I grow as a human being, and I'm not the first person to discover this, and I wasn't the inspiration for myself to do this. Like, my parents are business owners, and they took off. Like, they had dreams. They started as little dreams and stuff like that. Like, my dad thought when he was 14 about opening a gym, and now he has a gym. He owns a gym, which is incredible, and he's doing way more than just like making people work out, you know? So having such incredible parents and inspiring little sister have helped me realize that, and I understand that not everybody has that, but I think that putting yourself in those small situations, being a little bit like uneasy, is a really good way, because once you are easy, like once you feel at home with that stuff, you know that you've made progress,
Right.
and it's like a thing you can look back on and say, I made progress
That's
with this.
When people look back, one of the things I wanted to mention to you is we don't measure perfection, because perfection doesn't exist. Maybe back in the gymnastics back in the 70s and 80s, you had somebody scoring a 10, but in real life, nothing's perfect. But if you can measure your progress,
Exactly.
here's where I was 3 years ago, here's where I was 5 years ago, here's where I was 12 months ago, and here's where I am now. That's
Exactly.
measuring progress. And that's being your own best friend. Instead of putting yourself down saying, yeah, but I wanted to be on stage when I was 14.
Yeah.
Okay, you'll get there.
Yeah.
Look how far you've come. This is how far you want to go. That's good. You're making progress, right? And
Exactly.
again, nothing's perfect, but you measure the progress. That makes a big difference. The
Yeah.
other thing I notice after speaking with you, you're following your passion.
That's
How
it.
many people, and you've met many in school, how many are working in a job because it's a job and they make $10 an hour? And they hate it, the bosses, whatever, and they don't like the hours. You're doing something you love. Not easy, it's a lot of work. Putting yourself up there on stage, it's a lot of work. For you, it's easy. But for many people, it's a lot of work. I salute you for following your passion.
Thank you. I know I'm not like naive when I say that there's always a way to do what you love.
Yes.
I think there's always something, because I've had millions of adults tell me that. That's how I know it.
Yeah.
And then I've followed their advice and I've lived it, and that's how I know it. It's not just like a thing, well, I've had some measure of success in the past. Anyone can do this.
Right.
Because I think that there's always a way to do something that you love.
I don't know if you've ever heard this term, but you remind me of what we call an old soul.
Right.
Someone,
Yeah.
have you heard that before?
Yep.
Yeah, you're not your typical 11th grader.
Yeah. I
You know,
guess so.
and I have thankfully, three wonderful children who've gone through the Hingham High School
Yeah.
system, and they're wonderful, wonderful people, and I love them dearly, and I'm so proud of them. Yet you're not your typical 11th grader. So have people have told you this, that you seem like an old soul, and you're living from your soul,
Yes.
which is a very positive comment, by the way.
Yes. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I can comment on in that, because I don't see myself every day, like I just
Yeah.
am myself. I don't know. People have told me that quite a lot, especially adults, like especially people who are like, you act just like me, like what? Or like you act like my father, like what's going on? Like, and so I think the only thing I can say about that, I guess, is that I in order to like keep myself going and to be inspired every day, is I think of myself in the future telling this story to somebody. So like, if something funny happens, like in the smallest respect, if something funny happens or embarrassing happens, I imagine myself like telling my mom on the car ride home and laughing about it because it's funny then. And then it's not as embarrassing because you realize like this is gonna be nothing in like 5 minutes. The same with like writing songs and everything like that. In success, I think the reason I'm really open about it is just because I know it's gonna happen. I just don't know how. Yeah.
Idols. Who do you have as an idol?
Oh boy. Oh wow. Well, okay. The biggest idol of mine of all time is Hayley Williams. She's the lead singer of Paramore, who, if you don't know Paramore, you don't know music.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Or like rock music in general. She was insane. Like she joined they started the band when they were 12. Wow. And now I was, 14? I was 14 when we started Not Today.
Yeah, much older in life. Yeah, 14.
So old. Yeah. No, but like being a young performer, I looked up to her so much. And she like went on tour. They were like, the drummer in their band was like the youngest kid to play at Warped Tour. And because he was a little bit younger than her even. And it's crazy. She like toured live and stuff like that at 16 years old. And as you can imagine, like that takes a toll on a person.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I think she's my biggest inspiration because her life wasn't all super easy.
Yeah.
She had this whole great thread of success at the beginning, and she's an incredibly inspiring person. Mm-hmm. But now and throughout her life, she's suffered many hardships.
Yeah.
And yet she gets up every single night or every morning to get on a plane, or she gets up every single night and performs this huge spectacle of a show to people that love her and believe in her and don't know half the stuff that's going on at home.
No.
So I think she's like one of my biggest idols, like right there. And literally everybody in her band is almost had the same kind of arc in their lives because of how young they started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you. It was a pleasure talking with you, Olivia.
Such a pleasure, thank you.
I wish you great success. Not that you need my wishes, but you're on a great track right now. And you've got the right mindset, you've got support at home, and you've got that soul working for you, and I'm proud to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, thanks for joining us on Optimist Island. I hope if you get a few takeaways today, it's the idea of following your dream. Realizing that it's not always easy to follow your passion, and as Olivia said, you've got to get outside your comfort zone. And maybe it takes a lot of rehearsal and a lot of practice and a couple steps here and there in the wrong direction, but we measure our progress. We don't measure perfection, and that's what Olivia talked about. She's measuring her progress, making steps and pursuing her long-term dream, and I hope you do the same. Follow your dream, believe in yourself, have faith in yourself, and take that step out of your comfort zone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Neil Wu.